What up? It's the Grandpa MC coming at you with another video. Like, subscribe, share, comment. All right, man. Paul Pierce. Now, after a couple of days of thinking on it, Paul Pierce got a point, man. Paul Pierce got a point. The way they laid it out to him, he has a point. Now, look, when if some people are just like either Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, so on and so forth. I appreciate all those players too. I appreciate all the players that's been coming through. Like, one of my favorite players when I first started watching was Xavier McDaniel. Matter of fact, I named my son after Xavier McDaniel. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gave me that, his name gave me that idea. So, like, I've always appreciated other players. Now, Paul Pierce played in the early 2000 era. So, I mean, like, it was a lot of scores that came across that, that came through around that time. Now, when the question was presented to him, he was like, they named off, Jordan. He said, he said he can score more ways than Mike, and just left it at that. Then they said Iverson. He said he scored more, he had better, scored better, more ways than Iverson. Harden, same thing. T-Mac, he was like, they're close, but like he said, he go to the line more. Durant, they was like, he said he, tough. It's tough, but he picked him. So then they asked him LeBron, and he said, that ain't even a question. Come on, man. So and then he said Steph. He said he scored more ways than Steph, and he ain't got a point there. So, like, if people just take what he says on, take it and then think about it, like, I say, yeah. That's not saying he was the greatest player of all time. That's a whole different subject. But he's one of the greatest scorers of all time. I put him now. Now, if you put him up against, like past scorers like Alex English, Gervin, Elgin Baylor, Kareem, we just think about scores now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's up there. He could hold his own up against all of them. And when you think about him as a player, think about his era. His matchups against LeBron were some very competitive play. I'm getting hyped, but when his matchups against LeBron were very competitive. So when you talk about, like NBA history, if you go back and look at those series that he was playing against LeBron, Paul Pierce wasn't, given, and LeBron wasn't given. They were going back and forth. LeBron was a little bit younger than Paul Pierce. Pierce was a veteran. So it was basically an even matchup. And it was always competitive up until the point that, when Paul Pierce got traded to Brooklyn, and wasn't in that. But like the time when he was in Boston, those are some entertaining series. Paul Pierce, and I ain't even mentioned as much, but like I saw something recently from the Art of Dialogue. Shout out to them. And they was talking to Benzino, and then they was talking about that situation when he got assaulted in the club, got stuck up. So you think about that, and after watching the Celtics series, Paul Pierce came back a few months later for training camp, not too long after he got into that incident. So he was tough. He didn't miss a whole bunch of games. So, like, as far as a scorer in NBA history, he's up there. Paul Pierce has 8 points. His playoff history, matchup against LeBron. And another thing about Paul Pierce, he was kind of like, he never complained about help up until the end. Now, when he was having those conversations with the Celtics, as the years went on, it was a conversation about Paul Pierce might be asking for a trade or something like that. But it wasn't nothing like over the top like it is when they talk about LeBron going somewhere. At that point, Paul Pierce he had put in a lot of time, had a few playoff series on his belt. Then he wanted to win, and they got him KG, and they got Ray Allen, and it happened, and he showed what type of player he was once he was on the playoff stage. Like, he did his thing. He was a major contributor on that way to the title, and KG was one of the better players of that era. So, I mean, and he was on the tail end, so it worked perfectly. Ray Allen too. So it just came off perfectly. And it hadn't been a team assembled that way that won the title in that first little go around. So that speaks on all three of those guys as players, and they came to Paul Pierce's team. So I mean, like, that speaks on a lot on Paul Pierce. Now, his run in the championships wasn't that long. They had some more great playoff series after they won the title, but that was more of a byproduct of KG falling apart, man. KG fell apart that second year. If they would have won 2-3 more titles, I mean, another like two more titles, I think Paul Pierce could, people could take that a little bit more if he had more titles on him. And that gets into the whole conversation, rings and all that. It is a point in the conversation if you want to talk about rings versus another player. If it's a player that goes to the championship a bunch of times, you gotta look at them on that type of level. Like, Paul Pierce can't be compared to Jordan as far as a total player because of the history that Jordan has in the playoffs and winning. So then, like, Paul Pierce, he had nothing to feel bad about if all the greats are in a room and he comes across, he can hold his head up high. And so could LeBron. But I mean, like, and you know what? I think I'm gonna make a video about that. Because once he's been in so long that, the thing, his early part of his career has kind of been like downplayed, and that's a detriment to him, whether it's on his part or other people's part. It's a detriment. But let me stay on point with Paul Pierce, man. Paul Pierce just doesn't have any filter, and you know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. But I'm coming from the standpoint of just watching him from a distance. He looks like a stand-up guy to me. So, like, he ain't coming from no point of malice or anything like that. And he has some ground to stand on this subject. Not saying he's the greatest player of all time, one of the greatest scorers of all time, most definitely. So, Paul Pierce, keep doing you, man. Grandpa out.